When did you first hear from the Vikings this week, and how quickly did things come together?
Yeah, so I guess Monday, uh, things just kind of picked up pretty quickly. Um, Obviously, I was, paying attention to what was going on over the weekend, and yeah, I mean, it just was kind of a rapid fire sort of deal, unfolded pretty quickly, and had to make some decisions there pretty quickly. But yeah, Monday was the day.
You've had chances to go otherwhere. Why come here?
Well, I think for me, I spent 7 years in Dallas, and it was at this point in my career, even though I'm still young, or I like to think I'm young, um, you know, I wanted to, if it was possible, I wanted to go somewhere that had an opportunity to win and be a part of an organization that's right there and right on the brink of having a lot of success. So obviously when this situation came up, I mean it fit the bill perfectly, and then I can't complain on 8 games a year inside. So that was a plus as well. But yeah, just the win now mentality. The guys in the locker room have been great. It's a really great locker room. So it was kind of an easy decision for me.
If there would have been no contenders after week 2, would you have waited longer, or what would you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's a possibility. I was comfortable enough with where I was coming out of training camp. I felt healthy. I felt like I was striking the ball well. Obviously, they decided to go a different direction. So for me, it was more about just being patient and waiting for the right opportunity. It's hard to say if I would have waited longer, but that was kind of my game plan going into it. So, I'm fortunate that this opportunity came up and took advantage.
Dan, as much experience as you have, how does that help when you come to a team that has such high expectations as this one to kind of maybe even combat that pressure that a kicker would face?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that pressure there. I think that's the not necessarily a unique thing about this job, but it's very black and white. Your kicks either go in or they don't. So I've always tried to hold myself to the highest standard that I can. My expectations for myself are always really high. So yeah, coming in here, I mean that's going to be the same game plan I've had for my career, is just come in here and do the best I can every day, and try to stack good days together.
As you've been in the league for a while, I mean, do you learn things about managing the pressure, managing expectations that you maybe don't know as a young kicker anymore?
Yeah, I mean definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, the more situations you go through, the more situations you see, you definitely learn. So I've been fortunate over the years to see a lot of different situations, be put in a lot of pressure situations. So it's always gonna get your blood flowing a little bit. But I've learned to enjoy that, embrace that moment, and hopefully just keep it going.
Dan,
For you watching Sunday, the state that the kickers had on Sunday to Sunday, and you're out there, what's it just kind of like watching everybody go through that?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it was tough to watch. I wish I was out there, but in the same breath, I know what those guys are going through. I mean, I've had games like that before too, and it's tough. It's a tough deal. Sometimes, it's hard to fix that in the moment, and especially when you're young and you haven't seen a lot of ball. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, I was looking at it as an opportunity, but I never wish bad on anybody, especially at our position. And your heart just goes out to guys like that when they have a day like that, because it's tough.
Can you think back to one of your
So,
What would you tell Daniel Carlson if you had a chance to talk to him after a day like that, knowing his career and rookie and all that?
just keep after it. I mean, I don't. I've never met the guy. I remember watching a little bit of his tape, and when he was in college, I mean, it looks like he hit the ball really well. From talking to people around here, it sounded like he was a class act. So, he's got a lot of things in the right column for him, as far as things looking favorable for him moving forward. So I would just tell him to keep your head up, and there's going to be another opportunity for sure.
Dan, you're the second most accurate kicker in NFL history last year, though. was just 75%. What kind of happened last year that there was a bit of a dip there?
Yeah, I mean, last year was a tough year for me. I started the year great. I felt really well. Had a little bit of a groin injury mid-October, somewhere in there. Ended up missing 4 games, and then came back and just didn't really finish the year like I wanted, obviously. So that was tough. I mean, that's the first time I've ever missed any time. I think even going back to high school. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I haven't had any injuries throughout my career, so that was the first time dealing with that. And I'm not going to say I came back too soon. I think I was definitely ready to go back out and compete. I think maybe the rhythm was skewed a little bit, just taking that time off and then trying to jump right back into being at the top of my game. So I don't know that I would do anything differently. Obviously, I was disappointed with how it ended, but for me, I also look at the first half of that season when I was healthy. I felt like I performed really well. So I've tried to focus more on that and carried that into the off season. And like I said, I thought I had a really good off season, good camp. So I'm excited to move forward.
Were you surprised though that?
Yeah, a little bit. That's just how this business goes sometimes, for sure. I had a good conversation with them when they released me, and I think we were all on the same page. But like I said, I enjoyed my 7 years in Dallas for sure. Great organization, and more importantly, just in the recency of everything, I feel like I'm in a good place health wise and how I'm performing. So I'm excited to see what's next.
As a kicker, when you hit a low point, how do you get yourself out of it over the 7 years of your career, whether it was the injury or something else?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think for me, it's always been my support system. Who you're surrounding yourself with. I've been fortunate to have great teammates, great friends, great family. You got to lean on those people, and then lean on veteran guys in the locker room, guys that have been doing it for a long time. Ask them, what they've been through, how they've handled situations, and just kind of be a sponge and try to soak it all in. Not get too hard on yourself. Don't get too low, and just try to balance it out and know that you're capable of performing at a high level. And just kind of try to be as positive as you can moving forward.
You talked about how important that rhythm is. How challenging is it to get that going here in a week ahead of Sunday with the new group?
Yeah, well, I mean, today will be the first day we kind of will work on that. So obviously that'll be a big focus for us today. Kevin is obviously really good at what he does. I've worked with Matt actually 3 or 4 years ago. He was in camp with us when I was in Dallas. So I don't see it being too big of an issue. Definitely something we need to jump on today. But those guys are pros. They've been doing it. So we'll get it sorted out. I'm not too worried about that.
Last couple for Dave. Has the kicking game in the NFL become even more magnified in recent years? Do you think? I mean, do people notice the misses more now and jump on them more than maybe they used to?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously, they moved the extra point back a few years ago. So, I mean, maybe that kind of emphasized things a little bit more, created a little more drama. If I'm honest, I think just the talent and the way guys are performing over the past probably at least 5 years or so has really improved. I mean, I don't know that for sure. I don't know the numbers exactly, but there's a lot of guys that have come in and performed really well and done it consistently year after year. So, maybe the expectation overall is that, guys are making more kicks or expected to make more kicks. But I don't know. I think that's probably a good thing. Kind of puts a little pressure on everybody everybody at our position to perform at a high level.
Is there a certain percentage that you consider a successful season when you look back on it?
Well,
Of field goal percentage.
yeah, I mean, not to sound cliche, but I mean, you're always shooting for 100%, obviously. But I don't know. I don't really put a number on it. You're just trying to go out there and make each one that comes up, hopefully at the end of the year you've strung a few together and have a pretty good make to miss ratio. But yeah, that's my focus, is just taking it one at a time and knocking it through.
What did help you the most when they did transition the rule in the spotting of the ball for the PAT? How did you like stay at a high level on those kicks? Because across the league, the percentages did go down.
Yeah, well, it was just honestly, it was just more of a mental approach. Before, when it was spotted on the 2 and you were kicking from the 10, I mean, I'm not going to say it was you still got to focus, but I mean, it was pretty straightforward. Now you got a 33-yard field goal every time. So, not that that's a big issue. You got to have the same mindset every time you go out to kick, but knowing that you're going to get, depending on how your offense is doing, you're probably going to get anywhere from, 30 to 50 of those a year. You kind of have to get your mind right that, okay, I'm going to have 30 to 50, 33-yard field goals, this year. So just the mental approach. But other than that, everything's pretty much the same.